Hi, this is Jim Gibson with Blackstone Cybersecurity. And, I want to talk to business owners today, managers, business owners, CEOs, presidents of all different sizes, it's small companies or medium-sized companies. I want to talk to you about something because this is a very serious subject when you talk about cybersecurity. And a lot of people don't realize how serious this is. But do you realize that all your information is in your network, or the majority of your information, your database, your accounting system, your list of customers, your information about HR, all this is within your network. And if you may not be aware of this, but when you talk about small to medium-sized businesses, 75% of the hacks that go on right today, where people are breaking in the systems, are basically small to medium-sized systems. And if you're dealing with someone who really knows what they're doing in hacking, they're in your system and they're going to hide the fact that they're in your system, and they're going to put back doors so they can come back in anytime they want. In fact, they may even get your system to work for them, to deliver certain key information about what you're doing. Key logging, as you type in your password to your bank account, that information might be sent to a hacker. Your system is now working for the hacker, yet you don't know about it because he or she, the hacker, has been doing such a great job in hiding their own past that they're unaware or you're unaware that they are in your system and hacking. I think about a story the other day where a business owner came into my office, and she was pretty excited and pretty upset at the same time, and she asked for my help. And I said, what seems to be the problem? And she had a smartphone, and she let me see the picture that she took of her screen on her computer. And on the screen of the computer, I could tell it was CryptoLocker, or crypto ransomware. It was ransomware, CryptoLocker or ransomware. So when I said to her, well, it doesn't seem to be a problem, there's an easy way around that. What you need to do is you need to get your IT guy to completely erase everything on your network, including all your network hard drives and everything else. And then what you need to do is you need to, once you're completely clean, you need to reinstall your backup. And she said, oh, well, the backup is also crypto locked. And I said, well, that shouldn't be. Does your backup attach to your network and live on your network? And she said, yes, it's always live on the network. And I said, well, that's not the procedure you're supposed to use when you do backups. You're supposed to use a remote backup, backup to the cloud, backup to a hard drive that's not attached to the network once it does its backups. Have multiple copies of your backup. She didn't have any of that. And I apologized to her, and I said, I really feel sorry that, the pain you're in and all, but I don't think I can help you because that software that they use is so secure that it's almost impossible, if not impossible to break through. This is the crypto system that is ransomware uses is the same system that the NSA, the Defense Department, the CIA uses to keep their top secret information secure. So it's not something that I don't think they could even break if it came to it. So either you have to pay the ransom or you're going to have to start all over again. And she was not intended to pay the ransom. So about 2 or 3 weeks later, she came back and she said, I solved the problem. And I said, well, great. How did you do that? And she said, well, all my employees had thumb drives of all the information and their work. And of course, they didn't have the information for their accounting system or HR. So now they had no documentation. I don't know how she's going to handle the IRS. But I can't tell you how wrong that is also, that you have employees that are copying files on a thumb drive. That's also a violation of cybersecurity. But she was happy at that level, and I said, you know, your IT guy really needs some training in cybersecurity. And she said, oh, he's okay. He's just a kid, you know, 19-year-old kid that's really great with gaming. He's a friend of a friend. And I can tell you that a friend of a friend, the money that she saved on this IT person cost her 2 weeks worth of work and a lot of data that she'll never get back. So, you know, the other day, another scary story, I was out at a small medical facility and just doing a walkthrough just to see, you know, physically how they're handling security and things like that. And as I noticed, being here in Southern California, that she had her hard drive, a very non-professional type of hard drive, sitting up on a shelf really high and very much on the edge. And I said to her, I said, you know, you got a problem here. I said, this, you know, just walking through and talking about your cybersecurity stance, just from visual inspection, you really need to get that off that shelf, and it shouldn't be that way. You have some issues there. And her answer was, which was bizarre for Southern California, because I mentioned the fact that she was, you know, we live in an earthquake zone, or someone could hit that and knock it on the ground, and once you knock that hard drive on the ground, it's probably useless at that point. But she said, oh, we haven't had an earthquake in years. I think it's okay. So a lot of times business owners don't really take cybersecurity seriously. And sometimes even IT people don't take cybersecurity as serious as they should. One time I was asked to go through a pretty significant data center run by an organization that had thousands of endpoints, you know, computers, printers, things like that, and they had hundreds and hundreds of routers and switches and a pretty big network, and he was a pretty sophisticated IT person. So once I did a visual there also, and I was talking to the CEO and the IT person. The CEO said, what do you think? And this was preliminary to doing other work for them. I said, I think you're being hacked right now. And the IT guy sat back with a smile on his face. He said, oh, come on. Who would hack us? Really? And I said, yeah, really. And I said, what you need to do, if you don't believe me, is we need to do a penetration test. And a penetration test is a test that what you call a white hat hacker. He's a good guy. He's the guy that's certified that he will not destroy or hurt any of your IT equipment or databases or anything else. But he uses the same techniques as the evil hackers use. You know, and he gets in there and he looks at your network and he tries to discovers, he or she tries to discover, you know, how easy it is to get into your network. And with that in mind, they agreed, and the hacker, or not the hacker, the ethical hacker, certified ethical hacker, CHE person, goes in there. That's their expertise. Went in there and hacked their system, and said it was so easy to hack that they could break into any router or switch within a few minutes, and they could go all through the network in a very short time period. So they both were surprised. The IT person and the CEO was very surprised that that was possible. And so they took my advice. They went with some cybersecurity, just started cybersecurity actually. They have a long way to go. And when I met with them, you know, a couple months later to discuss their upgrades and what they're doing and how they could do better, as we were talking, he said to me, I said to him, how many times, how often in this 15, 20 minutes that we've been talking so far, has there been a hack or attempted hacks into your system? And he kind of sheepishly looked at me and the CEO and he said, probably 4 or 5 times in the last 15 minutes. He goes, we didn't realize how many people were attempting to break into our system. Now, today with software that you can get free on the internet, as I always say, a 9th grader could break into a sophisticated network. And maybe 20 years ago, you needed a sophisticated training to break into a network. You know, you needed to know how to do programming, and you needed to to be able to program different equipment to be able to get into a network, but not today. Today you can download some sophisticated software on the internet, and you don't have to have a lot of background or experience in hacking to be able to hack a company. I mean, you look at some of the companies out there that have been hacked. Sony, and they had a lot of cybersecurity faults that they did not address and that they should have known about. You also look at Equifax. They're the big ones. And, but, again, 75% of the hacks that go on today are basically small companies and medium-sized companies. And it's not just because they're interested in your money. It's just sometimes people do it for fun. They don't like you, disgruntled former employee, your competitors. And if they can hack into your system and they can destroy the database, let's say you even have backups of databases and you're secure in that area and you keep them separate from the network, you archive them. Let's say you even put them in the cloud, which is a lot safer, by the way. That's another story for another day. But let's say you do all those, you're still going to be down, you're still going to lose productivity because of the lack of cybersecurity on your network. And you're going to have to, as soon as possible, get the proper routers, the proper switches, the proper software. And at the same time, you should also have policies and guidelines and standards that are written. You should have cybersecurity training, because an insider sometimes can break into your network a lot easier and can destroy things. I remember once going to a building and looking at their physical appearance of their router and switch, and when I looked at it, it would be easy for anyone just to walk up and start pulling out patch cords. A disgruntled employee, and no one would know because it was wide open, it was in the hallway, anyone passing by could do that. And another time, another company, they constantly kept the door open to the small computer room that they had. But there's so many avenues here that have to be addressed as a cybersecurity professional. And the one thing I want you to come away with, the one thought I want you to think about here is that this is a very important thing to your business, and it's not a quick 5-minute question and answer on the telephone. This is something that takes serious work to secure a network and to keep it secure, to train the IT people to keep it secure, to train your employees to not violate any cybersecurity rules. And there's rules out there that are very good and work very well, and you're really going to cut down your area of risk when it comes to cybersecurity if you follow basic standards and policies and procedures that are in place, and you have the proper equipment and the proper software and the proper training. And this is where we come in as Blackstone Cybersecurity. We can help you in this area. We can give you advice, and we can assist you in setting up a secure network and maintaining that secure network. And it's really up to you. And remember that if you lose personally identified information, PII, you got to report that to the state. And not only to the state, but you got to report it to the federal government. It becomes an embarrassment. So it's your reputation that's here. And there's some other things. And I often think, that a lot of people aren't interested in cybersecurity, but you know something, the hackers are. The hackers are interested in your network, and it's your accounting system, and it's your private information that could be an embarrassment if people get a hold of it. The fact that they don't want to trust you anymore to work with you if they think that you're easily hacked or you've been hacked in the past. So give us a call. Let us help you in this area. Let us work with you in this area. And I know that we can lower the risk of you being hacked, of your company being hacked, and this information being safe and secure. Remember, if you're the CEO, you're the president of the corporation, you are personally liable for this information. you are required to have due diligence and due care when it comes to this information. So thank you for watching the video. Hope you have a great day. Hi, this is Jim with CableSupply.com. Hi, this is Jim from CableSupply.com. Hi, this is Jim with CableSupply.com, and today I'm going to show you how to cut a hole in the drywall.
This is David signing out. You stay classy, Internet.